right, this is the 5 on 5 podcast presented by directmusicservice.com. I am Phenom. To my left, Jupiter Williams.
What up, what
to
up?
my bottom right, Nick Lopez. And our guest today, make some noise for DJ Bonics. Yo, Bonics, how are you living, my man?
Things are interesting, and I'll be honest, the last few months have been kind of, my whole world's turned upside down. So we can start there, I guess.
Sure.
But I feel good, and I don't know. You gotta choose the happiness.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been working on all year.
Yeah, I feel like 2021 is already off to an unpredictable start.
Kind of crazy.
If you had any of these on your bingo card, consider yourself a savant, because I haven't been able to predict any of this shit. So,
Right.
Except, if you were the creator of Simpsons, I mean, you off to a good start.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Simpsons knew about all of this,
All of it, yes.
and everything coming up as well. So.
Yes.
But that's not why we got you here. We got you here today. This is the 5 on 5 podcast. What we do every week, we compare two artists head to head, their top 5 songs as viewed most popular on Spotify.
All right.
This week's pick is coming from Neek.
Uh-oh.
All right. So
He said, "Uh-oh."
I think everybody is going to enjoy this one. Bone Thugs versus Do or Die.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
this was actually on my list.
I can't say
man.
I'm not deep in the Do or Die catalog.
So you can are you on your phone or your computer right now?
I'm on my computer.
So I will totally allow you to cheat and use Spotify if you gotta give yourself a little listen, because we can't play the songs. But if you gotta give yourself a little cheat,
Right. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I can do a little cheat, but that really.
But you know what? I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
With the
I know a few joints. Just I don't go deep. But I definitely listen to Bone. So
yeah, you'll totally be okay. We'll get into it, and as we go on, I'll explain why I think you'll absolutely be okay.
Algorithms, man, all algorithms.
Algorithms, but you know what? This one isn't that fucked up. Round 1, Crossroads versus Do You.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
See, and that's
No.
already where I'll just get right into it. Do or Die songs are all the same song.
Yeah.
I love Do or Die.
Yeah.
But it's the same song.
Yeah.
And that one is
Do
not.
You sounds
Do You
just like Pope Pimp.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would think, and they're all basically titled the same thing. So
Yeah.
that's not actually Do You, which is crazy.
Mhm.
That's
There it
Pope
is.
Pimp.
I mean, that is Pope Pimp. That's right.
Yeah.
So and when I first was reading the list and writing them, because I wasn't listening, I was just writing them. That's what I was like, oh yeah, Do You, and then I saw Pope Pimp, and I was like, oh no, that's
Yeah.
what I
it's
thought
like-
Do You
Mhm.
was. So
There's like a commercial that plays on, or that used to play on the radio in Minnesota. That was that song. They actually used those cats to sell cars.
Oh, wow.
That's sick.
That is
Yeah.
sick.
They also used who else did they use? They used a couple cats. It's pretty cool to hear. But yeah, let's go.
Let's get into it.
Let's
So
go.
we'll give you first pick. Who do you got? Bone Thugs
mean,
or
like-
Do or Die?
Like the Do or Die song is like a classic. Like I feel like that tastemakery vibe. People be like, yeah, that's the one because it's less popular. You know what I'm saying? But like just for I guess the use of the song and like what it meant to me, like I would have to go with Bone just because. I mean, that's from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I was listening to growing up, and so it wouldn't be fair for me to just go with the cool, that's the one that people don't kind of know as much or whatever. But I grew up listening during that time in Philadelphia, so we were a little resistant on the East Coast to like. At least me and the cats, I was reluctant about Master P. I was reluctant about that stuff down south for a little bit. So I was like super backpackery for a while too. So I I didn't realize when I moved to Pittsburgh how Midwesty it is there.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Bone Thugs, man.
Okay.
Just like as far as just impact. Let's
Mhm.
talk about impact. I think that song had a bigger impact. Uncle Charles, man. He misses Uncle Charles, dude.
Uncle
He misses
Charles.
Uncle Charles, dog.
Yeah, he does.
Phenom, who do you have, man?
Yo, so Do You for me was like in high school when you're like smoking weed with your friends, driving around, like going to like Dairy Queen or Taco Bell. That's what that song was for me. But Crossroads is also every morning going to school, you turn on MTV and that's the music video playing. Every morning was with the eyes going white and all that. Like,
and the angel at the end.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Do You for this. Yeah. But they're both like neck and neck for me. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Trav,
it's pretty close there. I mean, they're both. I think, Do You, if you play that in the club, I think that's a better club song. You know, than Crossroads kind of hit that commercial level. So I think, but people sing the shit out of that still. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
Yeah, for sure.
And nobody knows how to sing the Busy Bone part.
Right.
No.
Nobody knows that part. For me, see, all right, when I moved out to Portland, Do You was every white suburban girl's anthem. I don't know why. They were just attracted to that song like a moth to a flame, man. It was so funny watching it because coming from Chicago, you know, of course that was a big hit, and then seeing how it moved over to Portland, where Portland is just so late on everything, and just seeing these suburban white girls just getting down to this song, man. I would just for my personal preference, I would have to go with Do You. Even though Crossroads was I just remember when it came out, it was such a smash, and then it just went commercial. So yeah,
It's way sexier. You know, it's just
Do You is sexy. It's a sexy song.
And you have to think about though, if you like lost someone that year, or like that whole like Tupac Rest in Peace vibe is a vibe for people. You know, like pour your drink out, like that's a whole vibe.
And I remember too when Crossroads came out, you know, they went to the Grammys, and I'm pretty sure they were nominated for R&B for that song.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's an alternate version of this song on the album.
That's right. There is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This the one that's in the video is like a radio edit. Like the beat's a little bit different. So, round two.
Cool.
First of the month versus Poe Pimp. Now we're talking.
I'll start off. Ahead. I always like to play first of the month on my birthday because my birthday is March 1st. So that has become my anthem every birthday. Golly, Poe Pimp, man. I gotta go with Poe Pimp.
Yeah.
Poe Pimp is my favorite do or die song.
Yeah.
Right.
Yo, first of the month is like a good end of the night song when you're at the end of the month and you hop on the mic and you're in the club, you tell everybody in bottle service, hey, your rent's due. The vibe. But yo, I'm gonna go with Poe Pimp, man.
The bottle girls start working faster.
Yeah, you see a bunch more bottles coming out or not coming out.
Yeah.
Either bottles or checkbooks.
Yeah.
People are on Zelle in the club, like, yo, let me get this shit over right now. Yo, I'm going Poe Pimp, man. That's a Midwest classic.
Yeah, Midwest. I mean, they're both Midwest classics, honestly. But yeah.
Like, my heart wants to say, you know, Poe Pimp again, because I was late to that joint. I hate to even say it, but like, I was in my New York, like I was East Coast rap. I was listening to the Roots and like so heavy in that. And even when like Jigga was like money cash hoes, like I wasn't into that. I was like, nah, it's not about the money. I was like
super backpack,
you know? So
for hip hop.
I mean, later in life, definitely Poe Pimp, like just cause like, man, I don't want to say I missed it, but like I know maybe I did miss it like at the time, and revisiting it and hearing that song and like obviously just figuring out how classic that was. And but first of the month, yo, like you again, because I was a Bone fan, like you made a song about like collecting a welfare check.
Yeah.
And, like when
That's
you
real
think
shit.
when you think about Crossroads and that, like that's really specific. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like we rapping, we shooting, we don't. It's like, I miss my Uncle Charles, and we see with the Crossroads, and then these cats are saying it's the first of them. Wake up, get your check. Come on, like I don't know, man. That and I was living in the suburbs at that point, so like when you're a kid living in the suburbs and you're here, you watch Old Dirty Bastard like go to the welfare joint in a limousine or whatever. Like, it's just another lifestyle that like you are just, hey, this is not what's happening in my neighborhood, right? So like I love like if I was gonna put it on a mixtape, I'd definitely go with Pope Pimp. But as far as the impact for me, I can't lie, I would just have to say Bone again, just because I fucking love Bone. I love Bone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They were melodic. They were my like real first sort of real like taste of like, hey, this don't sound like New York shit. You know what I'm saying? Outkast included in that as well, but even Outkast still had tempo and a lot of stuff. Right. But Bone the tempo was not, was slow. It was slow.
Yeah, it was slow.
Right. So that's real close, man. I mean, in the club, definitely Pope Pimp, but as like what it meant to me, I would say Bone. For sure.
Cool. Nice. Cool.
Round 3, another really good round. This whole, honestly, for the most part, with the exception of one round, I think is all great.
Yeah, these have been good
round
picks,
3, Thuggish Ruggish Bone versus Still Pope Pimpin'.
Hold on, I'm gonna put this.
Do you want to smoke my weed? Do you want to ride with me? This one's fire. This is another really good Do or Die song.
It's a good.
They're all the same song.
Yeah. And you know,
shit. They're all the same song, bro.
And these two artists,
they are all the same song. They are all the same song. I'll go first.
Pope Pimp and Ride, and that's basically all their songs. Right. You got it.
I mean, I thought Thuggish Ruggish Bone was something that I've never heard before.
Yeah.
Right? Almost to a point where, like, when she was singing, it's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone, I'm almost like, is that musically soothing? Or right.
Right.
Like, is that musically soothing or not? But then after it, just the repetition of it, it's, there's something classic about it. It's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. Damn.
Yeah.
And that was like probably a lot of people's first taste of Bone. So again, it wouldn't be fair of me to claim the Do or Die because that wasn't what I was listening to. So I would go with Thuggish Ruggish Bone too, only because like that shit just sounded different, man.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded different. And I mean, and like you said, those Do or Die songs all kind of sound the same.
All three of them do.
Yeah,
they're all great songs.
Right, they're definitely great songs.
It's the same song.
Yeah. Comparison kills joy, but I would say for myself personally, Bone on Thuggish Ruggish, because that was a lot of people's first time, I think, hearing Bone, and that was like kind of their standout joint. I remember those days. The whole thing, you know what I'm saying? Bone, 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 bone. Like I remember those days.
Thuggish Ruggish was also my first Bone Thug song.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Bonics. Thuggish Ruggish Bone. I still play that out.
Yeah. Hey man, we lost you.
Come back.
Come back.
There he is.
There he is.
Cool. I'm Thuggish Ruggish Bone. Fashion made an edit of that, and that's where I'm at.
Oh yeah, cool. I mean, yeah, classic edit. Classic
yeah.
edit, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Thuggish Ruggish Bone myself, just because, man, for me, it's something about hearing a woman's soulful voice on top of just a hard, rugged beat. I don't know why I love that sound. I just love the dynamics with it and the clashing of it. Because
exactly. That's a good word, because it was that's what I was saying. It wasn't comfortable, but it was like wasn't not good.
Right.
was definitely interesting.
I love it, and I just like the aggressiveness of it, man. It's just super aggressive, and whenever I play it, it's like a good like pick me up song. Like, you know, everybody in the club is like, all right, let's go.
Sounds like, I mean, as I remember, I mean, I can't really pick all the lyrics out, but like it being their introduction track for a lot of people, it is kind of like a posse cut, right? It's the
Yeah,
Thugs,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
what I'm
absolutely,
saying? So,
yeah.
you know, a lot of groups don't necessarily come in. I mean, I don't know. It's cool for them to stand their ground on that. Like, yo,
yeah.
In the posse cuts,
and then they do the roll call at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's totally a posse cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Bone
sweeps that.
That's a sweep.
Round 4. I hate this round. I Tried featuring Akon and Play Like Me and You.
Damn. Okay. You know what? I Tried. I got to go back and hear that. I haven't heard that one. Probably.
I forgot about that song, and I remember. Since I don't get a vote, I'll just give my opinion. I remember being so disappointed that this was Bone Thugs coming back again.
You know, I'm usually disappointed with an Akon feature for some reason.
He's one of those guys. Like, if I see Akon on the track, I'm basically bummed out.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on it.
I feel like though that's now. I mean, Akon. We have to give his flowers a little bit.
No, for real. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He had some joints, but I could agree during that time, probably about that time when they came back with Akon, it was like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need another singing guy. They do that.
And it was almost like, for me, it felt like they were, you know, of course, trying to find a hit. I mean, you can't blame them, you know, but yeah, it was just I just didn't want that hit with Akon.
I gotta hear
Nothing against Akon, but
yo, I'm actually gonna no vote.
What?
I'm gonna no vote. I'm not voting on either. I Tried
that connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna no vote.
Yeah. You know,
you gotta work on that connection, Colin.
I'm gonna vote for Do or Die. Just because I didn't vote for them at all yet.
There you go.
The intro, just listening to that right now, the intro is way cooler and smoother and still has that whole Poe Pimp vibe and shit. So we'll give it to them. Thank you for, you know, I got to go back and revisit that whole thing. Amazing.
Trav, where do you?
Do or Die. Do or Die.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and now we'll come back to cool Bone Thugs. For the Love of Money versus Fantasy.
For the Love of Money.
For the Love of Money is actually funnier because this one is because I don't know if you never noticed, but Bone Thugs spells things funny, like notoriously throughout their early work. There's album titles and song titles are like spelled in hip hop. Like instead of it's THA.
Yeah.
And for is FOE.
Yeah.
So this is For the Love of $sign versus Fantasy.
Yeah. For the Love of Money. Got my vote right there.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going Bone.
It's a classic. That's a classic for me.
I'm peeping Fantasy right now.
While you're doing that, I had to pull a MacGyver move where I had my laptop.
I saw it. That was smooth.
That wasn't bad. That was pretty good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was my needles messing up on the right side. I'm gonna put up to the left.
You went internal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna go with Bone because again, I can't. The Fantasy sounds like all the other joints.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not in a bad way at all. I mean, that's the vibe. But I can relate more to the For the Love of Money. And, Bone, baby. Bone.
You know, I'm surprised that Do or Die didn't have any of their Kanye tracks on there.
Yo, so it's not on Spotify. Like,
it's not? Okay.
Higher isn't on Spotify.
Gotcha.
That's the one with Crucial Conflict.
Yep.
And man.
Yep.
That Crucial Conflict's a whole nother story. Like,
it is. It is.
But I was surprised Notorious Thugs wasn't on there.
That's the one I was gonna say. I'm surprised I Tried is on here, but Notorious Thugs isn't.
And I'm surprised that Ghetto Cowboy's not on there. Every girl loves Ghetto Cowboy.
Yeah. So like I feel like this far out, like I Tried, at least to my knowledge, like didn't have like a huge TikTok pop or something like that. So I don't know why it's in the top 5 over Notorious Thugs. I feel like that would be in the top, but that's probably got to be one of the most played Bone Thugs songs, right?
I think Bone overall though has more of fandoms. Like, you know, obviously they had bigger commercial success, but you know, even like Wiz, like, talking with Wiz, like Wiz got a Bone Thugs and Harmony tattoo on him. You know, I was shocked to know, shock of how much Wiz loved Bone Thugs and Harmony, and again, you know, Pittsburgh and Philly are two different things. So like,
or Cleveland.
Well, I know. I'm just saying where I lived.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So, you know, that like, you know, even 3-6 Mafia, like I had to, you know, 3-6 Mafia was something that I learned more in Pittsburgh than I was getting in
Gotcha.
So it's weird because Pennsylvania, I always consider it East, but a lot of people in Pittsburgh consider themselves Midwest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pittsburgh and Cleveland are like, you know, very close, like less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Away.
Speaking of, Pittsburgh just scored.
Okay, what is it? 100 to 2. It's all good. It's all good.
That's funny,
man.
So,
the lightning round here, Bonics. What we do is we give you a this or that, and you choose either way which one you're vibing with.
Okay.
It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get tough, but that's what this is all about.
All right.
Let's start.
So indecisive too, and I'm practicing not to be indecisive. So let's. This is a good.
This is a
great exercise, bud. You're gonna love this.
Let's go.
Let's start with Drake or Dr. Dre.
As far as what?
Overall,
just your pick.
I mean, for me personally, or about the game? Like, are we talking about the game, or are we talking about me? Because like my favorite, me personally, I would have to say Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre means more to me than Drake. That doesn't mean Drake didn't have as big as an impact, but Dr. Dre definitely, you know, and I hope he's doing better too.
Yeah, same.
Sure.
Right.
Same.
Yeah. Jay-Z or Bruce Springsteen?
Ooh, I mean, yo, I love Bruce Springsteen, and I have reasons. We'll go with Jay-Z. All right, we'll go with Jay-Z.
Okay.
I mean, I like, man, yeah, because I know more Jay-Z music than Bruce, but I'm not a Jay-Z stan anymore. So I'll just put it out there like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Trick Daddy or Gucci Mane?
I mean, I'll go with Trick Daddy, man, just because, you know,
he loved the kids.
Yeah, he loved the kids, and he's still doing radio, and you know, he's still relevant. And I like Gucci Mane, and I thought that Gucci battle was cool, but it kind of showed you the maturity of Jeezy versus Gucci, and it just still put Gucci. Gucci's a cartoon, you know.
Yeah.
Let's switch zones here. Weezer or Blink 182?
I like Weezer for sure.
Okay, cool. Luda or G-Style?
I would go with Ludacris because I'm more familiar. I know Ludacris is a Virgo as well, and a quick story. Like someone gave me the What's Your Fantasy 12-inch because he knew Ludacris actually. It was before he got signed. So I have this like white label What's Your Fantasy with like hit up Shaka Zulu's 2-way number to get to book Ludacris shit. So Ludacris gave me some drops too one year, and he was really cool guy.
That's awesome.
Justin Timberlake or Usher?
Justin Timberlake or Usher, man. Sheesh. I mean, obviously, I feel like Usher is like the, I think Usher brought more. Usher probably brought more to the game. I love Justin Timberlake though, so that's not. I would go with Usher though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I love Justin Timberlake though. I can't front. That's a good
Same.
Actually, true story. I interviewed Justin Bieber once, and he had to decide between signing with Justin Timberlake or Usher.
That's true. That is true.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Usher's cool. Fuck with Usher.
Okay. Big Timers or Yin Yang Twins?
People say I look like Manny Fresh. You know what I'm saying? So when I was, I'll go with Big Timers. I like the Yin Yang Twins. They're like funny and explosive, but they didn't go that deep. So I'll go with the Big Timers for sure.
Okay. Bee Gees or Fugees?
Wow. I mean, I love the Bee Gees, but I have to go with Fugees. I would definitely go with Fugees. Yeah.
Sade or Aaliyah?
Sade or Aaliyah? Sade for sure.
Okay. TLC or SWV?
Man, SWV got bops, but TLC brought a lot to the game, and I got to see them in concert. And T-Boz, T-Boz.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody gives T-Boz her respect.
I love, just the short hair and the like baggy pants. I was like, you look, yeah.
She kind of had that raspy voice too.
Yeah,
Fire.
Yeah. Let's Biggie.
SWV got joints though. SWV got joints.
Yes.
Rain on Me. Oh man.
Yeah.
Fair.
And Weak.
Biggie or Pac?
Biggie or Pac?
Yeah.
Biggie for sure.
Okay. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Man, I lived in Minnesota and I got to really learn a lot about Prince. And, I would just have to go with Michael overall. I have more memories with that. But I think when you hit some sort of musical, depth, you understand Prince. And then living there, living in Minnesota, you understand what he really did and what he brought to the game. So, I like the whole Prince as a musician and Michael as an entertainer. I like that. I know it's really broad and people might disagree to that, but I think that's a good, Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Cool. It's going to get a little tougher for the next two here. Al Green or Marvin Gaye?
Al Green or Marvin Gaye? I would have to go with Marvin Gaye. I mean, I love Al Green, but Marvin Gaye's whole life is just interesting and just even what came through am I supposed to elaborate on this, or are we just supposed to?
No, please, if you can, if you want to.
Just thinking about his national anthem. I had researched a few national anthems for this little thing I did, and there was nothing like his. And it was just swaggy. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely go with Marvin Gaye, man. Marvin Gaye.
All right. And the question we love to ask to wrap up the lightning round.
Okay.
Outkast or Hall & Oates?
Oh, Outkast or Hall & Oates. God damn you. I'm actually sitting in, I forget if it was Daryl Hall or John Oates, but he went to high school right up the street where I'm at right now.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I love Hall & Oates, all right? I absolutely love Hall & Oates. But Outkast, I always say that, I always stand on, I think Outkast is the best hip-hop group of all time. And since, I'll go with Outkast. I love Hall & Oates, but I probably listen to more Outkast than Hall & Oates overall in my life. But it's not, I love Hall & Oates. I love Hall & Oates. I can't believe he did that to me.
Yeah.
That's not fun. The lightning round is not fun.
It's not fun, but Outkast,
Okay, cool. Let's pass it to Neek.
So, I've been asking a lot of people this question just because it's on my mind, and I think it's funny to get the answer. Hypothetically speaking, you get the opportunity to have a meal of your choosing, a la Travis Scott, at any fast food establishment, and it's the DJ Bonics meal. What is it and where is it?
Wow. So you're asking me where I would have a DJ Bonics meal?
Yes, and what would it be?
And are we talking in a fast food kind of vibe?
It has to be fast food.
Okay. I mean, I think it's about. I'm on a not eating meat journey right now.
Okay.
And I think it's due time that McDonald's has a Beyond Burger, a Beyond Big Mac, or something. So I would definitely go with a Beyond Bonics Big Mac.
There we go.
Oh,
I like it.
The name.
It works
like
too.
That.
Yeah, Beyond Bonics Big Mac, and but you could get a LaCroix as the drink. You know what I mean? Go full hipster on them.
Just full on backpack.
Yeah,
they serve it to you in a little backpack.
Exactly.
A biodegradable bag.
A biodegradable bag, and maybe some truffle fries on the little McDonald's just throw the little oil on that.
Yes.
So That's I think that's that would be the Bonics Big Mac beyond Big Mac. I think that's
awesome.
That's tight.
With the LaCroix.
LaCroix, I love it.
Topo though, I'm a Topo Chico guy.
Same.
Oh, we're
Same.
big Topes. We're big on Topes over here.
Yeah. Let's pass it to Travis.
So I have a story first to start off with. So Bonics, I don't know if you remember this, but I first met you in Portland when I was opening up for Riff Raff concert, and DJ Afterthought brought you backstage, and I met you then, and then this was right when what was it? We 93.
96.3, yep.
96.3, yeah. That's right when that started, and then I met you again over at District when you came in with DJ Heat. Mm-hmm. And I remember this day very vividly because you walked in with Heat and I started playing a Meek Mill song, and Heat is just going crazy like how Heat does from his East Coast craziness. Right. And you just so cool just sitting back. And I just remember I was like, man, I know I'm doing something good, because I remember looking at you and you just like, I was like, yes.
It's nice seeing that Portland. That was like one of the only clubs where I actually got that I feel like were like, kind of like meat markety, but not in a bad way, because I felt like that and not that we all love meat markety, but there was not a lot of that in Portland.
Right.
Like just straight up club shit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like small room type vibes,
right?
From what I was going through. So, yeah, I mean, I'm from Philly originally, so
yeah. So yeah, I appreciated that, man. I was like,
that I remember the Riff Raff show too. That was a special time in Portland, man. Ironically, it was like 4 years ago, like when the Trump shit was going on. So I had experienced like those the shit that was going down, and then that weekend Dave Chappelle did his whole thing. So like for me to be there during that time and like was a move for me, and some new radio shit, that was cool. That's crazy though. Glad you reminded me of those.
Yeah, definitely. So what I want to ask you though, off the cuff though, when you were DJing for the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight,
right?
Did you? How was that? Can I just ask you about that experience? How was that experience? Because if I remember correctly, you guys were doing your performances beforehand, right? So they replayed the performances throughout the night,
right?
Go ahead.
So we actually recorded that the day before.
Oh, okay.
Because of COVID, really.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, like let me just say this. So we were like, oh shit, we might do the Mike Tyson fight, and then all of a sudden, because of COVID, there was going to be no people there, and so we had to come in the day before. We had to get tested. We had to go in the day before. It's like, and they walked us into Staples Center and shit. Like I haven't been there since Kobe and all that stuff. So it was a cool little eerie feeling in there. And then also was like the future, because it's like, here's a huge event that's going to be broadcasted. And it was dope because number one, and I'm just going to say this, because Wiz said this I was at Wiz's house when we were watching it. He was like, would you ever think that in 2020 we would be performing at a Mike Tyson fight? Like, my man's retired. You know what I'm saying? Like as a 90s or 80s and 90s kid, watching Mike Tyson fights or whatever, and then just saying that fact, I was like, dude, that's crazy. I wouldn't be able to put that on the bingo card. And number two, being the only DJ that had a look. You know what I'm saying? I know Wayne canceled, and I'm sure his DJ would have been up there. But Snoop killed it, and it was just like, all of us are out of work to a certain degree.
Right.
And the fact that I was the one DJ in the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
I always look at this perspective like that, because that's special.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't only that you were the one DJ. They gave you a platform. Like they gave you a mic, and they're like, yo, go ahead and do your thing too. So
that was cool. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that was cool.
It was cool because like we haven't performed in a while too, so like you could feel I'll tell you a really funny story about this. Is the first time I say this. is that Wiz isn't really into rehearsing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, so when he showed up, I had gone through the music, and actually, if you watch the performance, I should see if it's online. I literally made up the intro on the spot. It had I forget the name of the actual word, but you know when you watch like a sci-fi film and it's like,
oh yeah,
living in a world, it's a Brahm. It's actually called a Brahm. That's the name.
Oh,
I had
okay.
like that sound effect, the it's called a Brahm. And so I was just kind of fucking around with it, and I was like, you know, we could either start. What was the first? I forget what the first song was. It was Still Wiz, and literally I had made it up. They checked my shit, and then we were on the itinerary. It says rehearsal, and they didn't tell. Like, I should have just assumed this, and now I'm going to assume this. Wiz doesn't want to run through it more than once.
Okay.
So like, I was like only giving like half of the energy that I would normally, because I was like, this is a sound check, right? And it was actually pretty good energy. But at the end of it, I was like, all right, I'm ready to do it. And they're like, no, that's it. Wiz doesn't want to do it again. And Wiz was happy with the cut and all that shit. And I was like, are you serious? Like, so I was a little nervous about, because I know, like, I know personally as the performance, I wasn't consistently giving it all consistently. It was just like, all right, let me run through this so they know what I'm going to do. But, you know, watching it back and just, it just felt nostalgic, because it's like no performances this year.
Yeah.
Right. You know, to be able to watch that, sitting in Wiz's house with him, and watch they, you know, the performance was pretty early in the night, so I don't think as many people caught it as I wish. But in the end, I got to perform in a Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah,
so,
that's so sick.
That's so
I mean,
cool, it's so cool.
For everybody that has commented on the fight and the performances, Wiz was at the top of the list. It was Wiz, YG, cool. Snoop, and St. John. So yeah, right.
I like St. John. I was disappointed in his. He went to try to be too cool or something, and the pink jacket wasn't working for me. But I like St. John. He's a cool
St. John is nice. St. John is nice. Oh, I forgot my other question. Colin, go ahead. I'll remember it.
Yeah. Let's ask this. I do want to touch on this a little bit. Yeah. 10,000 hoodies, 10,000 lakes. Right. I know you're a huge initiative that just wrapped up. Tell all our listeners, all the DJs about that. You're quite the philanthropist, my man.
Yeah, you know, the philanthropy part, though, for me, was really approaching it in a way where it's natural. Yep. You know, this year, so I'll give you last year versus this year. Last year, I was like, in the summer, I was cleaning out my closets out, and like, you know, I don't know, we're collectors, right? Like, as DJs, anything, and you know, working in radio especially, and then touring with Wiz, I get so much fucking free shit, you know. I just you know, recognize I've been on like a minimalism journey, I guess, if you can, I guess, you know, like, and I was just like, yo, first of all, Minnesota's cold.
Yes.
And I had all these hoodies, and I just thought, like, I thought that there was something kitschy about 10,000 hoodies for the 10,000 lakes. And so I basically was like, look, I'm going to start a hoodie drive. This makes perfect sense. The hoodie has a bad connotation, you know, a la
Trayvon Martin.
You know, and a hoodie is something that can happen all year round, because, you know, people always have sweater drives and coat drives or whatever. So I just was like, something that was like, you know, still hip hop, because I think in hip hop, there's a lot, you know, we talk about our Jordans. Like, look, if people love shoes, great. But like, if you're flexing on shoes in the year of pandemic, like, I can't relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Unless that, if that brings you joy and all that, but I really can't relate to that right now, of just like abundance, when there's obviously people like right in our community that are need help.
Yeah.
You know, and we need to learn how to reuse and recycle. Like, it's cool that people have mad Jordans, and it's cool that people have every shirt, blah, 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 blah. But like, is it necessary?
Right.
And so I feel like in planting that seed, because I feel like everyone knows someone needs something, right? But not everyone thinks that they have something to give. And a lot of people, like, if they're feeling low or stuck, like, giving, people don't think that that's an answer. So back to last year, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I just launched it. I was able to use the radio station as a great platform. I was able to get, like, artists involved and Taylor Gang involved, and A Boogie with the hoodie sent me stuff, and Pink Sweats and Burner, and it was a cool initiative, and it fucking hit, dude. The news caught it. My goal was 10,000, but I didn't realize, like, 10,000 is a fucking lot. So I basically reached almost 6,000 last year. And then this year, just over a month ago, our radio station sold. And so the timing, COVID and the timing, and I personally thought it was tasteless if I'm like, yo, you better give, while people are just dealing with a whole bunch of shit right now.
Right.
So I didn't pour the gasoline on it this year as much as I did. I just kind of made it more natural without like last year, the dynamic of people coming to the radio station and dropping it off, and I could be like, yo, Becky's here and she brought hoodies. So I didn't have that this year. Also, it's basically me and my partner Annie who helps me with this, and it's just us. I didn't have the radio station. So this year I had Pilgrim Dry Cleaners in Twin Cities. They were able to have a couple drop-off spots for me. So this year's a lot more mild. Someone like DJ, I didn't go crazy. I'm going through my own transitions. I lost my job. I'm figuring out what the next thing is. I had some traveling to do. So there's a little bit of, like, where I could have just went crazy with it. Like, I need you to send hoodies, but we see where the world's at. So even when, like, someone like DJ Irie sent me hoodies, like, I don't really know him that personally, but he follows me on Twitter and and other people have asked, like Trey's and all his other cats. So to me this year, it wasn't about trying to look like it was the look. It's not about the look this year. It's about, hey, I can make it still happen in the background. I don't want to be like, I think there's a lot of authenticity questions this year, and so I don't want to make it as big as I couldn't handle. You know what I'm saying? And so I just, it's casual, like, and so I think I might get at least 1,000 this year and add that to the joint. And I don't know how much longer I'll be in Minnesota because of the job loss and everything. But it's cool to give back to your community. And this is a bigger question. And, I challenge DJs. And look, DJs don't have to necessarily give back to the community. But if you could be as loud on Twitter as you could be in your community, like actually helping them, then I think that's the key. Because listen, like, I get it. Some people are on the right side of history and are, hey, this is what you should do. But, like, I think if we're focused too much on all these other communities, which is good to know what's going on, you're forgetting about your own. Right. I'm trying to police motherfucker. Like, I'm trying to hold people outside of my circle accountable. Like, nah, man, let's hold what we got accountable here. I see the news is, like, appalled about what happened at the Capitol building, but they killed George Floyd, like, down the street from me. And so I'm still fucked up over that. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's just a bigger question of, and look, if someone doesn't feel like that they have to help their community in a certain way, cool. But if you bragging about how dope you are to your city as a DJ, then you should have more, not you should, I'm not trying to put any expectations on it. I just feel like that people should, you've spent that much time in your city and people only care about seeing you DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've only contributed to, now that your Saturday night spot is gone, you aren't, like, no one needs you in any other way. And so, like, did you really build with your community? And so that's how I look at it, is like, y'all are, not you, but in the general, like, y'all are OGs to your city, but, like, you're still posting about Jordans, like, 20 years later. Like, yo, let's fucking come together. It's about the community, And even in that small stint that I had in Portland, people knew what I was trying to do.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got thrown off the air for trying to play the last Artful. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were like, we didn't approve this, and I'm like, yo, she was just on. The next year she was on Anderson .Paak's joint.
Which is weird because Portland. That's Portland right there.
Right.
She's Portland.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
I mean, thanks for bringing that up. We're still collecting hoodies. If you go on my Instagram, you can send it. I got a P.O. box, and I'm just going to distribute them. The stuff that happened, like, so when I was distributing them last year, dude, I didn't realize what homelessness was really like on, like, a like obviously in Portland is crazy, but just thinking about like statistics like this, like there are kids in high school who that's their only meal. Is that when they go to school, that's the only meal that they're getting that's guaranteed. And so just thinking of those little things and like the abundance we have as DJs, like I get all this free shit. Of course, I used to buy shoes. I have countless amount of records, Like, I know that I'm like, everyone needs to respect me as a pillar of music in my city or whatever DJs are. But like, how are you giving back besides fucking guilting motherfuckers about agreeing with you? You know, like, give me some fucking real shit. Like, give me some. And so I think that's important. Like, so I stress that. And I think it's about being local again. Like, think about Max Smith, right? Like, no one really, like, this is what I think about DJs is like, now that the world is closed, how are you a light in your own city? You know, like, there's a lot of DJs who like have a lot of this clout all around the world and like, yeah, they're celebrated, but like, is all you have to offer to your city is that you can catch you on a Friday, Saturday night that's not available anymore? So I just think, you know, and look, everyone's going through different struggles. So it is what it is, but I'm like always about the people, man. I'm always about the people. It always, you know, that's what brought us here. You know what I'm saying? Is like going to clubs and being personal. And so thanks for bringing that up. And I just think, I don't know what's going to happen next year with it, or I might come back and do it, or that was it. And I'll think of something else. But it's important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I believe you as well as Mike 2600 are pillars in your city.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. And we commend you for that, man, because it's so easy just to sit back and be like, what the fuck am I going to do? And you are like, how can I be of assistance to my people? So,
and there was something to be said, like, you know, I know a lot of people are like, radio's dead, but like to be able to air people's voices during George Floyd shit, like I've never been like Portland was like an appetizer for that at that moment for me, like, you know, because when that was going on, we were like, yo, don't destroy the city. That was 4 years ago. Yeah. And 4 years later, being on and be like, you know, putting people on the radio, like, what did that mean? You can't hear that on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hear that. And so, you know, that's just a little shout out to local radio and to keep, you know, live and local. It's about your community, yo. It used to be DJs trying to swap gigs. Like, guess what? I'm DJing in this city. But guess what? They don't really care about you in that city. You're, you know, you're swapping a gig, which is great. Get the love, figure it out, and you know, learn new experiences. But it's funny because I've hopped around in a lot of cities, but I'm just trying to do my best to insert myself in whatever the culture is. Right. Because that's what all brought us to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? All four of us, or you know, five of us probably had to, or four of us, there's four. You know, we had to go to dark parts of the city to get hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And it was unknown and a little scarier then. And here we are, you know, thriving and dude, we play music for a living. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Can we switch gears for a second? For a second, because that was great. That was great. You know, think about verses and thinking about some artists that I want to see on verses. What do you think about Wiz Khalifa versus Big Sean versus?
Someone said
there
was a good, you know, and I think that would be cool. I know Travis obviously has had like more mega hits. I think Travis and Wiz would be a good one.
That is.
You know, I love Big Sean, and Big Sean, we became friends just from like touring and everything, but I do believe there's a little bit of a different vibe there. But that actually is pretty good. Big Sean and Wiz.
I do like that Travis.
I would do. I mean, you know, I would favor Wiz, obviously.
Well, right.
But I like Big Sean.
Yeah.
I have a funny story about Big Sean. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Our first time opening up for Big Sean. Now, Big Sean was blowing up in his city. Wiz was blowing up in Pittsburgh. And so we went to Detroit to open up for Big Sean. Or maybe Big Sean opened up for us, actually. It was a big, like, basically it was like freshman cover. They were all, and Wiz before we actually played after Big Sean. Big Sean opened up after us. And if you ever asked Big Sean about the story, he would remember. Wiz forced Big Sean to like hit a bong before he performed. And like, this is all new to me because this is like one of my first shows as Wiz's official DJ. So like, I'm not starstruck from Big Sean or anything. We're just both all like, hey, like those kids are like teenagers basically. And we're like, and I remember that Big Sean hit the bong and he was performing and he definitely was high as hell. And I remember I don't know if it was a tweet or maybe I heard a girl say it to Sean after in the dressing room, was like, something was wrong with you tonight. And Big Sean had said this. He said, I'll never hit the bong again before I go on stage. Because at that time, Wiz was just trying to make people fucking get high as hell.
Yeah.
So that was a really funny story about Big Sean getting super high. And I know he'll remember that.
This will lead me to my second question of three questions.
Let's go.
Do you know anyone that can smoke toe-to-toe with Wiz?
I mean,
Snoop, right? We all saw that clip of Wiz coughing out on smoking with Snoop on stage.
Oh, right. But some of that was definitely like staged, like.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Like, because he's always going to give it up to the OG.
Yeah.
The thing about Wiz though is that like he's smoking big fat joints of weed. Blunts is a lot different. Motherfuckers don't fill blunts up like that. They try to make like a little nugget work. Like Wiz will put like a gang load of weed. Wiz smokes a lot of fucking weed. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, even to a point where I've been with him in other countries where he had to like not smoke and it was not cool. He like in the beginning it was very like it was hard for him. So we didn't go to many countries that we couldn't smoke, but Wiz says this in the song. I don't know exactly what song it is, but it comes to him. You know what I'm saying? It comes to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll just say this, like, I'm just going to say this, but I'm not going to go into the story. We were in Saudi Arabia last year. And then that's all. That's all I said.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? We were in Saudi Arabia.
No
and then, like,
more.
Oh, man. That's the clip.
I was on your Instagram and I saw the 30-second dupe you rolled.
Oh,
and
yeah, the one.
like,
yeah. It's crazy.
And I was thinking like Wiz, like, cause I grew up listening to Wiz and like Currency. Those were my guys in high school for me. Right. So Wiz smokes weed and Currency to a certain degree too. Like obviously they smoke a lot, but Wiz smokes weed in a real smoker's way. Like a lot of rappers talk about blunts and shit, but like Wiz is hitting bongs and dabbing and like
right.
That's like another level of smoking weed that like early on, like unless you were really
smoking, like no one had access to dabs like immediately, right? Like,
right. Like so when you saw us hitting really dabs, plugged,
right,
you weren't hitting rigs and things like that.
Right.
So the 30-second dude, I just remember laughing because I was like, you can only roll something that quickly with that much weed. Like you can't.
Did you see the way he threw the weed in it though? He was just like,
he
just like tossed it. Yeah. And that shit got like over 200,000 views on my Instagram. So that actually, and that's just like
roll a small joint that quickly with a little bit of weed. Like you have to roll a giant thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't roll a standard.
That was cool.
To be that big to get that much control to get it that quickly.
Yeah, watching Wiz, I'm gonna just say this: like, what people don't really kind of are aware of is like the culture, the culture aspect of it. When I was first touring with Wiz, I would be like, well, why isn't like Rick Ross out here and other people? Like we were going all over the fucking world. Like why isn't T.I. or Jeezy out in fucking Turkey? Why are we in Turkey? And it's bigger than the music. Weed culture, like Bone Thug still touring, Cypress Hill still touring. It's culture. And here's the great part about that is that Wiz doesn't need a hit song to tour in that way because people just know I'm gonna go smoke weed at this and feel free or whatever. And that's what's really great about Wiz, that, at times I would be like, he may not be the poppin' artist on the charts or whatever, but like it almost supersedes that, and just being a part of Wiz's team, like sometimes you're hard on yourself and you're hard on but like Wiz is culture, man. And a lot of these cats that are the same age as Wiz were like, they were fanboys of Wiz, and they won't admit it now. You know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
Because Wiz is their age and shit, and you know, I'm definitely so thankful for that experience. Like I could be DJing for, I don't even want to say artist, but
anybody else.
Yeah, anybody else. But you know, Wiz is, dude. He even like on the Mike Tyson fight, still brought me on stage, still let me have my shine, and it's fucking awesome. I love that.
Guys, acts like Wiz Khalifa are like, you know, speaking in terms, because we brought it up earlier about the following, and it's almost like, I know Jay, like Hove already kind of like claimed it, but y'all, that's the real like Grateful Dead of rap, because it's like a true cult following. It doesn't fucking matter what Wiz Khalifa's putting out, just like you said, like he could put out a Pootie Tang track of silence.
Right.
For going to the show. You know what I'm saying? Like the fans are going to go. Taylor Gang is
just because they want to smoke and shit, you know, like
right. It's bigger than just the music. It's a full experience.
And it's hard when you're in it. It's hard. Like it's just like some, because you know, as a DJ, people like our peers, they're not really talking about Wiz like that. And so sometimes I'm like, man, like I know y'all love your Travises and Drakes and all that, but you know, Wiz got so big that people are like, it's just Wiz now. But dude, people fucking love Wiz, and there's a lot, you know, a lot of from the hood to the suburbs, man. They like respect, and he's still doing his thing, and I love it. He tweeted something yesterday that was like so funny. It was like, I can't be friends with rappers that smell like backwoods and bad decisions. And you know what I'm saying? And that sums it all up. You know what I mean? Because he's so different that like, that's why you don't see him like necessarily running around with celebrities and shit, because he doesn't need that. He still has his team. He's still fucking with Sledrin and Germ and ID Labs, and I've been touring with him for over 10 years, man. Like, very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Let me ask this question to tie into that. Bonics is building the set for Wiz. What are you opening with? What's your big poppin', your midnight song, and what's your closing track for him?
You know, he makes a lot of the decisions, but recently he's been kind of giving us some autonomy a little bit. But like, you know, he always likes to end with "See You Again," and like, look, I know that song is super pop, but like, what that song means to people around the world, like, motherfuckers walk up and be like, "My uncle died," and my, you know, and dude, that song like got us on Ellen and Saturday Night Live and all this other shit. But to open up with, man, I really trying to think like some of my favorite songs that we opened up with. You know, I guess most recently we have been just kind of jumping into Black and Yellow and just, you know, just jumping right into that. But I'm just trying to think of like some of my favorite opening joints. Like we used to open up with Bake Sale. I don't know if you remember. Bake Sale, which was dope. And then kind of in the middle, I love like Mesmerized, you know, that's always like just a classic sort of smoker's anthem. But there's a lot of songs that I wish he would perform that he doesn't really like to perform anymore. And then, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot. So Wiz has taught me a lot about the art of just, he could be putting a lot of time into it, obviously, but he also he's helped me not obsess over it. Like obsess over our stage show, like it's just have fucking fun, you know what I'm saying? And like not think about it too much. And that's what I really appreciate, because you know, I come from the era of watching, like that's the one thing I'm glad that I brought to him immediately, was when I first started touring with him. He was like rapping with lyrics in his shit, DJ Ill Will, like all on the tracks and shit. And people would be like, "Oh, DJ Ill Will, what's up?" I'd be like,
"No, not me."
Yeah, exactly. So you know, I brought what we learned. I mean, at least me and Phenom. I don't know about you, young bulls. No, but you know, we learned about stage and showmanship and a little bit of the DJ and the MC. And you know, he gave me like a few sort of like where I could do some routines, but I look at it really as I'm gonna tell you about this is like a little theory that I have, is that DJs over time, they don't learn how to share the stage. As a matter of fact, we're the guys that can walk in whenever we want. I'll just show up whenever. So I just really think that there's this thing about like when you get older and like I'm just glad that I was able to share the stage with him. Like, I'm glad that I could be number 2 on stage and still benefit from it. And a lot of times DJs, I feel like, just want to shine, and like they can't share the stage. And so he really taught me about that, and even to a point where I just feel like it's just nice to be a part of a team. And I don't, people be like, oh man, you should be doing. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Like, this is perfect. He hired me to do this role. Like, you should be doing this. Why aren't you hosting this tapes? And I'm like, because that wasn't what I was doing. Like, I'm okay with being in this role.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff kind of took that lead, and it was all shifting into that where it's like, yo, the DJ and the rapper are right there neck and neck. Right. And then something kind of went astray, but you guys maintain that, which is dope.
Yeah, but, like, and again, whatever, I'm coming from, like, my point of view. But, like, a lot of people will be like, it's synonymous for some people, I guess, like Bonics and Wiz, but I'm okay with it being Wiz, and then I'm the guy in the back. Like, I've got to experience so much stuff. Like, I was just recently on my Twitch sharing stories of Culture Clash, and we did Culture Clash in 2016, and not to get too deep in that, but Wiz don't know what the fuck that was. Like, right? Like, I mean, most Americans don't know what the fuck that is.
Right.
And what a culture clash is. So when they brought it to Wiz, like, he was like, yeah, you're gonna pay me to do this? Sure. But then when I was like, oh shit, we're about to do culture clash, we better fucking do our homework, right? And so that was a little bit of a struggle, because, like, rappers don't call other rappers and say, yo, make a version of your song for me. Like, they don't understand that culture. As a matter of fact, rappers are too proud for that sometimes.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm like, what? A culture? What? You want me to what? Like, so that was a little bit of a struggle. But just to have those experiences like that and kind of quarterback. Someone asked me one time, they said, how many times have you, like, saved the show? Whether it was because of technology or something, or like the band, something. And I said, more times than Wiz will ever know, and that's my job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
dude, there's been times where the band cuts off and I had to pick the song up right at that moment, and I'm like queuing it up, and it's like, and so a lot of times and a lot of times if technology does fuck up or something, Serato or something bugs out or something, like, being able to just, like, be on stage and not show that.
Right.
Like, he'll just keep rapping or something, and I'll be like, oh, hit the reset, I gotta restart, boom, 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 back on the one, and so that sort of, like, quick decisions, and that's what, that's what DJing has taught me over time. Is timing is everything. And when we first started using Serato, we used to be like, try to show people visibly that it's not our fault. But now it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, some shit fucked up. But now it's just like, right. Like, exactly. Like, yo, this fucking club shit's whack. But really, you pick up the mic, and you say, yo, technology fail, y'all. How y'all feeling tonight? And then my left hand, I'm restart. Y'all make some noise, smoking good weed out here. Boom, 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 boom. Shit's back. All right, cool. They had no idea that, like, the shit shut down. So there's a lot of those type of lessons.
Yeah. I would be remiss if we didn't ask you any Mac Miller stories you'd like to share.
That's what I was about to get into too.
Man, like, first of all, one of my last interviews with Mac was in Portland.
Oh wow. Actually, I did hear that one. Yeah, I did. Yes.
Dude, like, where do I start with that one? Mac came up under what Wiz was doing, and so we were on Mac's first tour with him. If you go on YouTube, I have Mac's first stage dive, and he was doing a college tour with us. I did cuts on kids. You know what I mean? They put it on Spotify last year, and my name's on that shit.
Yeah.
That was a big loss, man. And he was definitely a special kid. And there's this little drop that I play every once in a while that says, so it was like maybe a year or two after he got popping, and like I never really said this in public, but like I was close. I used to like have lunch with his mom, and his mom used to be like, "Don't tell Malcolm that we eat," you know, because it was, you know, it was a lot of like little brother shit. And you know, I played his song on the radio for the very first time ever. I was the first person to ever play Mac Miller on the radio. I was on Kids, and you know, watching him grow into that. You know, there was a moment where it was like Taylor Gang, most dope. So a lot of times we had to just like stick with Taylor Gang, and there was I don't know if everyone talked about this in public, so, but you know, there was definitely like a Wiz Mac sort of energy that like they only had one song together.
Right.
But I think what it really was like they just wanted to have their own identities. You know, because Mac was signed to Rosham Records, which was Wiz was signed to originally, and from this is just from my point of view, so someone could debate this. Mac was just getting exactly the same looks Wiz was getting the year prior.
Okay.
And so I just think that at some point it got frustrating for Mac because it's like, well, why am I doing everything Wiz did? Well, that's the only, you know, that's what the blueprint was for Rosham Records because they had success with Wiz. And then I probably could say that Wiz might have been like, well, why is Mac doing everything that I did? So I would, you know, and even I know that there was a Breakfast Club interview where someone asked Wiz about Mac's addictions and stuff, and people had mixed emotions about what Wiz said. But, you know, in the end, Mac and Wiz, like, you know, like, and we could kind of maybe say like, this in a positive way, like Mac was a musician and Wiz is an entertainer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, to see Mac go into, dude, I remember, hey Mac, I'm in LA. Let me come over your crib. Sure. I don't know if you guys know his DJ Clockwork, but if you ever
shout out to Clockwork,
shout
Cincinnati.
out.
I'm just going over his house and he's rehearsing with the internet, right? You know, like they're just there. And this is when the internet was pre, and then. You know, last time I saw Mac alive, we were, Wiz and Mac were both touring the Lollapalooza in South America. And Mac actually introduced me to Anderson .Paak, who's like one of my favorite artists. And, you know, Mac was touring with, like, some, I don't know what the exact word, and I don't want to like get it fucked up, but, you know, he made like when we were in Portland show, no drugs or alcohol backstage. You couldn't even smoke weed.
Yeah.
And he had some sort of, I don't want to say like a psychiatrist or something on the road because that's not the right word, but you know, he had someone to help him. And so, you know, I remember specifically in South America where some of the homies, Mac's team, like they wanted to stick around and hang out with us because we were partying. But you know, they had to support Mac. So you know, Mac, that man, I love Mac Miller. I love what he stood for, and just to see how he like, how the people that we love, like the Thundercats, and that whole like squad of people like loved him too. And so man, I have a million stories of Mac, and I was telling you about the drop he had. It really like sums up how maybe he felt about me and how he made me feel. It was like he was going on tour with like Meek Mill, the Space Migration Tour or whatever, and I had him on the phone because I had just gotten a job in Philadelphia, and I was like, yo Mac, I know you're busy, and this crazy because like 2 years ago he's asking me for his time. You know, and so now I'm like, yo, Mac, yo, thank you for spending, you know, having time with me. I know the whole world wants you now. And he said the whole world and DJ Bonics are two different things. And, you know what I mean? That really made me feel special, dude. And even like when I saw him in Portland and then saw him for the last time, like for him to introduce me to Anderson .Paak, and it's just, it was a big loss, man. And I think these last two albums just literally show you where he was going. So rest in peace to Mac, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Totally. And while I have you, I do want to say rest in peace to DJ Indiana Jones too. I know we were all close with him, man. That's another one too. That's another one too.
It's wild because I I think I had met Bushwick Bill with him for the first time, and we had went into the studio, and then he invited me to go check him and Cool Keith out.
Oh wow!
And
shit.
so like, you know, I saw what he was doing, and we definitely like, you know, it was quality, not quantity. That's for sure. And so actually, Phenom, I didn't, you know, you being in Portland, I didn't even know how you knew him like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw that hat, I thought of you immediately.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I had cut my teeth in Indianapolis, which a lot of people don't know. I went to Indiana University. So I think the first time you and I met was through Matt over at Dope Couture, which is now Dope, which Matt's not even involved anymore.
Yeah, shout out Matt. Shout out Matt. That's the homie.
So we all met probably when you played IU 2009, maybe around there.
If you look, if you go on my YouTube and you type in Mac Miller first stage dive, it was at Lil 5. Is that what Lil 5 points or whatever? So you should watch that video. It's pretty cool because he's like thinking about it and then he just goes. And dude, it's crazy because Indianapolis goes crazy for Wiz and Mac Miller. Like both those guys. That was a good city for us. Good station.
Yeah. Which is crazy because I played that show, that Mac show, later that night. I opened up, and I don't think we had met at that time, but that was the kids tour, I believe, right around there.
Right.
And he played like the early show, and then later that night, and then he played one for 18 and up, then a 21 and up show, just going all night, and that's a testament right there.
That reminds me of this is what what the climate was. I remember, so Clockwork had some like issues, so he couldn't travel to Canada or overseas. This is a good example of what the climate was. I've never told this story in public either. Mac had asked me, he was like, "Look, Clock can't come to Canada. Can you like DJ for me?" And I said, "You have to ask Wiz." Like that's what it was like. That was the climate, and he didn't want to ask Wiz, and so DJ Benny ended up doing it. But that's what I was telling you about how like Taylor Gang and Most Dope at one point was a little bit like there was like a, you know,
like a weird tension maybe.
Yeah, like maybe a weird tension, and you know, for Mac to be afraid to ask Wiz that at the time kind of shows you, and even me, like I mean, I don't think I was afraid, but you know. I would hate to be like, "Yo, Wiz, you know, I know you just gave me this look. You mind if I go with another artist?" Like, I could, you know, I could understand how that. That's why it didn't never happen like that. But shout out to DJ Money too. Yeah.
Travis, I know what you got on your mind, and it's time for you to start asking.
Actually, man, I don't, man. I was still on this Mac Miller story, man, because I remember I met Mac. At a concert right outside of Heinz Field, one of their annual concerts that they do, and this was around the time when he was dating Ariana Grande.
You were in Pittsburgh?
I was in Pittsburgh. I was in Pittsburgh on a work trip when I was doing some corporate stuff.
I was like, "What are you doing? You ain't calling me, man. What's up?"
See, I was actually kicking it with Afterthought, DJ Afterthought. Yep, because that's the homie too. So. Afterthought got me backstage, and we're just chilling backstage or on stage, and the crowd is screaming for Ariana Grande because they see her on the side.
Right. So
that she turns around and she sees me, and she said, "Hey, you're a big dude. Can you stand in front of me so that people will stop screaming for me?"
During his show,
during his show, so that they can focus on Mac. And then after the show, I remember walking backstage with Afterthought, and Mac sees me. He's like, "Hey, you the guy being nice to my girlfriend?" I go, "Yeah."
That's a great story.
"Don't be nice to her." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, "Man, I'm just joking." And he gives me a hug and stuff. It was cool, man. So yeah, I had a little moment with Mac right there, man. That was awesome. And
it's weird.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, it's hard to like. It's hard for me to put into words though, like how big he got. Like, you know, Sir Elton John was like giving Mac Miller shout outs.
Right.
And I the way that I describe it is that like there was one point in life where Mac Miller was this big, and to him I was this big. You know, because I was on the radio in Pittsburgh and like supporting him. Like, if I go into my Twitter right now and I look up, I like every once in a while will look at these DMs. Hold on, let me get in here right now. If I look up these, I don't even know if it like shows up anymore. Hold on, here we go. So yeah, like I used to DM him like, "Yo, I'm gonna play your song during the Steelers warm up." Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know even where I was going with that, but oh yeah. So just like, and then Mac was this big and I was this big, right? So like, and that's like, I don't feel uncomfortable about that or anything, but it's just it just like proves to me like that, yo, we could be meaningful in people's lives and you never know where they're gonna be later.
Right.
And even no matter how big he got, he would always say what's up, you know? So man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
And it was wild though, like I have good memories with Mac in Portland, which is, you know, the fact that I was even in that city for that amount of time.
Right.
You know, touring with Mac around a bunch of colleges. And then if you look on my YouTube, I have this little skits that was called Wake Up Mac Miller. So if you YouTube Wake Up Mac Miller Bonics, I have these 3 skits, or not skits, where we like basically catch Mac sleeping on the tour bus and we like wake him up. So this one time he fell asleep listening to his iPad. Oh no, he fell asleep with headphones. Or you know what? He fell asleep in the back of the studio and we were like, we put headphones and we plugged into an iPad and we put like a Uzi sound effect. And you know, so we like put the headphones over his ears. And then it was like, and you could see him being like waking up. So we just like, you know, he was a little brother on that shit. So we gave him a hard time and missed that guy.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll switch gears, Colin.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right. So Bonics, real quick. You're stranded on an island. You have one album to listen to. What album is that?
You know, off the top of my head right now, I've been on like, my listening habits are a lot. I think when you're in radio and like you have to keep up with it all, like I've just been really into instrumental music lately. And I've only thought about this recently is like, I want to make my mind up about the mood of the song. You know, so honestly, I've been listening to like hella Kamasi Washington. Like, super. So whatever that last album is, I forget, the one that came out last year, I probably listened to that more. Like that's what came to my head first. And a lot of those songs are like 6-7 minutes long. So like, what album is that called? I'm sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank right now. And I'm not saying that's my favorite album of all time. I'm just saying that album most recently, Heaven and Earth, that album most recently has gotten me through these last few years, and to a point where like I was doing a lot of mushrooms earlier last year.
Yeah, and, shout out mushrooms.
Yeah,
shout out mushrooms.
They're legal in Portland, man.
Actually, shout out. So
shout out psilocybin.
Yes, for real.
Kamasi came to concert last year in Minnesota, and I didn't care what I had to pay to get front row. And I definitely overpaid by probably $300. But I don't think that matters when you want to experience something, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
So, dude, we did shrooms and it was front row, and it speaks to me. So I've been really feeling like the Crumb Bin and all that type shit last year recently. You know, just real instrumental shit, because I feel like that I love lyrics, right? You know, obviously, but I don't need any more. Like, it sounds crazy, but just from where I'm going, I guess, it's like I just like listening to music and like letting the mood decide me and not like the lyrics. You feel me? I don't know.
That's great. No,
it's
that's
weird,
great.
Man. It's weird.
That's great. That's definitely, honestly, that's definitely a very mushroom answer.
Yeah.
It really is, which I'm okay with.
If you listen to that Heaven and Earth album, like there's just a lot of like 7-minute joints that you know that like, damn, I missed that whole journey of like where I could listen to a song and go through a journey, one song to go through a journey. So I definitely am on my 40 plus shit here, like just kind of moving into as much as I want to keep up with all the babies in the world, I'm just starting to feel a little bit like maybe I could move forward and just kind of niche myself a little bit, because DJing is just, it's exhausting.
Hell yeah.
Especially when you're like open format guys, you're trying to be in the know.
Everybody's everybody.
Yeah, you're just trying to be like, I need to know all this, and it's just exhausting. Yeah. That's why, like, Phenom, I'm taking a lot of cues from you. Like, I love that you, like, you know, revisited, you know, the Rolling Stone albums and all that. Like, how, you know, like, you got me thinking, like, if that's going to be lockdown again this year, like, I might approach it just like that same way, kind of just like being able to experience the albums. And I love that, man. That's super cool.
I appreciate that. That'll tie in with my question here, taking you back to the club. If you are DJing, what is your favorite song to close the night with?
Whoa, to close the night with. I have an answer to that, but I just don't know exactly what I would pick right at this moment in time. That's a good question, man. I mean, you know, I've been like kind of favoring trying to bring slow jams back into the club, you know.
That's my cup of tea right there.
Travis is licking his lips over there. He's Jodeci's #1 fan.
Give me Jodeci.
Jodeci.
Give me Jodeci. Give me Drew Hill. Give me, you know, the SWVs, the Usher slow
something
jams.
With
Come
a little
on,
schmaltz,
man. Yeah, something with the schmaltz.
Man, that's hard to say like right at this second, man. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of the shit. I'm trying to think of the last time I DJed a club, and then I'm gonna try to think what was I playing? Man, I don't really even know. That's a crazy.
Okay.
Who knows what to play? I'm just saying, who knows what to play right now?
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. Something kind of peaceful though. I guess something that's like all in common. I'm gonna come back to that one.
Sure.
Because I have an answer.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I think it's
They're
gonna tell me to shut up.
Trav, make a note for me.
I got you.
I'll speak softer.
Cool. Are we good on time?
Yeah. No, you're good.
Cool.
Steelers lost, right?
Steelers are losing still. Losing still, 45-29.
We got a lot of DJs that listen to this, a lot of producers, a lot of people that are kind of lost at sea right now, trying to figure out what the fuck is next. How has Twitch worked for you?
So I don't want to say I'm late to the game because earlier I've started. I'm gonna just say this straight up to the DJs, and I hope I'm not spoiling it. The motherfuckers are making a lot of money on Twitch right now.
Yeah,
I'm talking like over 10,000 a month type shit. And so at first I wasn't like really like. I mean, I was on the radio and shit, so I had my own little sort of. I was DJing. I DJed every day of 2020, basically, because I had a mix show in Minneapolis. It's going really great. It's ironic because a lot of the dudes that are on there, and I'm just saying this more tongue in cheek, they're the same guys that were like, "Fuck the microphone." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were the same guys that were like, "Nah, man, fuck that." And then now everyone's a fucking comedian and shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to be cool and sarcastic and whatever.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like there's a place for that. You know what I'm saying? And I love the creativity. But for me, it's been a great pivot to. I hate to use that word. It's been a great pivot to come from radio to do that because like being in front of the camera and speaking to the audience for me comes super natural.
Right.
Like that shit don't even faze me.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that, now the problem is, for me, is like I could get really deep. Like I'm just on this using my platform to help people connect. You know, I think it's so. I don't, as a media person, I used this rule last year or even before last year. I don't want to wait till another kid dies for me to use my platform to tell people to be peaceful. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the pattern I kept noticing was like, oh, this another black unarmed man dies, and all of a sudden. Charlemagne's having like, everyone's doing these talk. Like we should be having these shit. We should be using a piece of this platform all the time, to kind of push love and shit. So Twitch has been dope because there was this thing that I used to do on my radio show called Blessings, and every day at 10 a.m. and And it really struck a chord with a lot of people. Like, I would just like say some shit how I felt, some humanizing shit, like letting people understand, hey, I'm not perfect, or, you know, maybe giving them a little bit more of insight on cancel culture. And so Twitch has been great. Also too, I've been having a lot of great people who've helped me, like Buck Rogers and DJ Umami, and DJ Caper, and you know, people have reached out to me and said, yo, like, I already hit over 1,000 followers, and like in my you know, I would say that I've only really been doing it consistently for like a month or 6 weeks, you know, to get 50 people in there consistently. And DJing to me is a lot different, because I want to just connect with people. It's not about me trying to be on a soapbox about music. It's not about me trying to be the coolest dude in the room and playing shit. It's not about me, you know, like, I get the whole no request sort of vibe, but like, that's not me either. Like, I love requests, like, request away. Like, this is how we communicate. You know what I'm saying? And so, look, yeah, are there bad people who come up to the DJ booth and whatever? But tell me a service industry job that doesn't have that same sort of interaction. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. Like, listen, some of, like, if you're producing and like, some people are like being mad that people are requesting songs, like, your name's not even on the marquee, bro. You're just DJing here on a Friday night. Like, your name's not even on the ticket. Like, you're providing the sounds. And I just am like, and trust me, this is opinions that I've had made over time, that like, yo, to me, it's about the regular people. To me, it's about making connection with the people, because look, they might not know DJ etiquette, but that could be a doctor, and I don't know shit about surgery. You know what I'm saying? So if they want to come in and forget their woes, and I have the power to do that, I'm going to try to figure it out. And, yo, definitely people can come at you sideways and all this shit, and they want to vent about it and be like, you're coming into my space. But, like, that's not who I am. So, like, as far as Twitch is concerned, like, dude, it's a great platform. And I would suggest that all DJs recognize that there are people that are making a lot of money. And if I don't want to, you know, I keep hearing like this might be the new norm and this is the future. Like, if it, you know, I heard a lot of people being like, well, you know, I don't want to get it all ready, and then all of a sudden the CMA or whatever will shut it down. Well, I was like, well, at least you'll know how to do that on another platform.
Right.
At least you'll be ready to stream and shit. So, you know, I'm just trying to be organic with it. I'm not trying to be like, you know, I love some of the visuals that people are doing and all that. I just want it to be organic for me right now. Like, y'all don't need to see me DJing in a volcano and being like, you know, like, y'all don't need to see me DJing. Like, that shit's cool, but it's about connections. And I know I lose, like, sometimes I know I lose people when I'm on there and kind of like talking about humanity and shit, but that's what we need, man. You know, it's like, we need more people to share how they feel and let people feel that, hey, I'm human too, and I make mistakes and all that. So Twitch has been a great platform for me, because I can do it now. Look, listen, if I really wanted to kill it on Twitch and make a huge production of this shit, I definitely could. I have interviews, I have clips, I have all sorts of shit that, you know, I'll be dropping in Mac Miller interview clips while I'm DJing. I think I put the first Mac Miller emote on Twitch. I haven't seen anyone with it, but I put it on there. And so it's been great. I would definitely suggest people go and just, like, it's a great release. And it's a great way to, like, just engage with an audience, and you could play whatever you want. But that gets dangerous too, because sometimes regular people want to hear regular shit, and I shouldn't be afraid of that. You know, like, I remember one time someone requested a song in my chat, and shout out to my man DJ Inferno. And Inferno, like, kind of like clapped back at this dude, like, you know, Bonics to play whatever he wants, like, and I like was kind of like it was a odd request. It was like something out of, you know, it was actually an okay request. It just didn't fit the vibe what I was doing, and I couldn't help it but play it. You know what I mean? Like, this man is using his time to be in here with me. Like, you know what? I'm gonna try to, like, not alienate that shit.
That's a really cool way of looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've spent a lot of time, like, whether it's on the radio or in the club, and just understand that we have an opportunity to help people make memories. That's what we do, is we make memories, man. And that's what DJing is to me, is that, like, how can I make this memorable for people? I like to say that my approach to DJing is, I'm going to play some songs that you want to hear, and I'm going to play some songs you didn't know you wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? And I think, to me, that's like the best thing about it. But, you know, I'm getting kind of scared because, like, I don't want to say I'm falling. Like, I love DJing, and when I'm in it, I'm cool. But, like, I'm just starting to be more attracted to the connection I'm making with people. Okay. And I'm gonna, at some point, try to help people with my voice. And not singing or anything like that, but, like, you know, just to, you know, like, you guys hear me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys hear me. Like, a lot of my message isn't like, yo, I got turned up in the club and we fucking smoke weed. It's how can I use this, all the experience that I had, the stories that we can share. You know, Ron, how can we, like, you know, dude, like, this is why this is a great community, man. And so that's my big thing, is I'm going to figure out this year, 2021, how I can help more people, because even look, I respect a lot of people on their platforms, and I respect the passion that they have. But I just feel like there's, even if people on the right side of history, they're still dividing. And so I'm just trying to bring people together. And how I say this is, like, we can love a song, but we might not have the same views. So how can I walk, talk, and be like a song and try to bring people together? And that's kind of like what my vibe is right now. It's just like real super empathy. Like, this is, I don't know if y'all saw this Andre 3000 merch from last year. It took forever, but like, you know, this one spoke to me, and it was just like, yo, that's what I'm gonna be on, you know. And and I can't turn it off. So please catch me on Twitch. I do a noon. It's called so I was doing in Central Time in Minnesota, called the High Noon Mix Show. And I've been continuing that. I'm going to take a break this week because of some sort of COVID stuff that I'm going to just leave at that. But it's been super cool, and I've been building a great community of people from Minneapolis and from Portland to Minneapolis, all the cities, and people like that vibe, you know, like they like to hear me talk and tell these. It's weird, man, because, you know, we're still fans, right? I feel like we still look up to the crazes in the world, and I look up to all these artists, but there's people that look up to us. You know, Ron was still on the radio, and Ron was still, like, trying to throw events before all this shit, and he was, like, mad years into the game. And, you know, reading that article about him moving to New York and, like, managing and trying to do all this shit, like, it's just super inspiring. And, dude, it's not just the music, man. Like, we can choose to help people and make memories, because, like, that infinite joy just lasts forever, man. Like, you reminded me of stories that I don't even remember. And, dude, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap it up here.
Hold up. So, Bonics, we are doing a DJ biopic cinematic universe. Okay. Who is playing Bonics in this biopic cinematic universe?
Ooh, I mean, are you talking about look, or who like, you know, you want me to be like, you know?
All right. Just for example, Bird Peterson.
Okay.
The person that's playing Bird Peterson in this DJ biopic cinematic universe is Idris Elba.
Oh, okay. All right. So I respect
so,
that.
Someone you respect or you feel that looks like you.
Who did Craze say? Lil Duval?
Craze said Lil Duval. Yeah.
That's perfect. You know, the first person that comes in my head is, like, I know this sounds random and weird, but Bill Murray would be fun, right?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Bill Murray's weirdness. You know, I thought you were going to go into some other thing, and I had thought about this idea before, and I'm just putting this out there. Imagine if there was, like, a Wikipedia.
Yo, that's such a great name for DJ Wikipedia.
And I feel like that they should like someone needs to make the comprehensive community Wikipedia, because this is something that came to my head before. It was like, this is how I approach DJing, and you can make it local. If they wrote a book on DJing, what would be your contribution to it? And that's kind of like how my outlook is to DJing is, if they wrote a book. So if they wrote a book about, you know, wiki culture in Portland, where do you fit into that? Phenom, where do you fit into that? Where do you fit into the Vegas culture? And I think that will answer the question of who impacts and then who's just kind of playing.
I love that. Yeah,
I like that.
Because like there could be a story, dude. If you write the story about Philadelphia DJs, like, you know, even Cash Money, and then I mean, there's all these guys and radio legends and all this shit. Like, I feel like that's what I would tell a young DJ, how you fit into this game is like, what are you bringing to the culture? And to me, that's it. Like, I know there's like young people are all like, what the fuck does do it for the culture mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. If they wrote a book about your city and DJing, how would you fit into that? And that to me is impact. You know what I mean? So I'll say that to cats who are trying to find their skin in the game. Like, are you playing music, or are you really trying to add to this culture? Because we all in a certain way, like, you know, your guys' podcast, like, in time, is going to be a great time capsule to see where we were and all that. So I would say that, like, man, again, going back to like, we're still students. Yeah. But like, I get to say that, I traveled with Wiz Khalifa for 10 years. I get to say that I made it to 2 Red Bull 3 style finals. You know, 2010, the first year they had it, and 2015, you know, I got to say I performed in Saudi Arabia. I got to say I played Mac Miller's song for the first time. So, and it's not about me, man. That's why I love DJing, yo, is that we can go to a different city. Like, if you go to Thailand, shout out to my man, DJ Buddha, the heavy hitters out there. Or even like going to New York, like, you know, the fact that I became a heavy hitter and I can go to New York and hit up DJ Enough, who was Biggie's DJ, and be like, yo, Enough was like, man, it's so great, man. And it's about the people. So, man, as we like go into this new era of DJing, I just want people to like respect the game, and we got to usher in a lot of new feelings about DJing. Recently I saw a tweet, and sorry if I'm going outer space here, but I recently saw a tweet that was like, some, you know, the same old like, young DJs, why are you undercutting us? And like, I get that argument, like, but like, what are you gonna tell a young DJ to, like, you know what, man, why don't you make $9 an hour instead? Like, what's he gonna be like? You know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go. So I just think that we just gotta keep like being a community, man. I think that's what we forgot at some point as DJs and as social media, is that it's all about me and it's all about how I. But like, yo, when we started DJing, at least from when I started, it was like, yo, I'm bringing these records to your crib and we gonna like, oh, what you got? Oh shit, scratch or whatever the fuck. I just think we got to bring community back to our community. And you know, I see a lot of boys club ass shit going on in DJing right now. Where motherfuckers are trying to shame other motherfuckers just trying to get by and all this shit. I see a lot of boys club type shit, which is cool, but like, you know, I never was always hanging out with the cool kids before, so I'm cool with being with the people, you know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all doing this and asking me to be here. And you know, I'm interviewing some other people, so just to have y'all give me the shine and the kind words, and you know, even you saying legend, it's like I'm still looking up to motherfuckers like Craze and all these cats that like, man, I'm not worthy sometimes, but you know, at the same time, we ain't getting any younger, y'all. Younger, so if I could, you know, people will tell me, they're like, hey, I look up to you, I've been watching your career, and that's just fucking awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for, you know, using your time, and you know, I'll make sure if I ever can do anything for y'all, man, let me know.
Man,
we definitely appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, man, for real.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. Is there anything you want to let the listeners know about before you take off?
Follow me at DJ Bonics. I'm going to make some interesting moves coming up here in the next few weeks. I'm actually doing an ayahuasca trip soon.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. Are you filming that?
No.
Okay.
Are
Not
you
at
doing
all.
it on Twitch?
So,
Cut.
I'm going exactly. I'm going through a lot of transitions, man, and so I just want to say these next moves and given the weight of the world is not going to be about capitalistic moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to about waking up and choosing happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even like Phenom, like you going through your diet and shit, just looking at you, like you look healthy. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
I had a heart attack 10
Yeah.
and shout out to Audio One.
Yeah. Shout out.
Big shout out.
110%.
Yeah.
Audio One reached out to me when I had the heart attack because I remember DJ City did like a video about me and shit, and he was like, "Yo, man, you made me recognize I gotta like kind of pay attention to my health." And 10 years later, he did the same thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So watching the community in San Francisco come together, and I don't know if you saw over just a few days ago, someone was streaming off his shit, and the shit was just like ballistic, like
it was
10,000% hype train type shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the last things I want to say, yo, is like, if you have the urge to be right, like be kind to each other. And don't be so hard on yourself, and don't be so hard on other people who don't know the DJ culture, man. And keep spreading love, y'all. Like, and more than now, we need to spread love. And I know that there's people that are going to go about it in different ways, but there's a lot of lonely people out there, and we could do more than just the music. Reaching out to our homies, and you never know. Ron passing of a heart attack 10 years after I did. During the same week, basically, really. So it's like you never know, y'all.
Right.
So smoke weed every day.
Hey.
We will end it with that for sure.
Yeah.
DJ Bonics, a wealth of knowledge,
man.
friend.
Thank you, legend.
Thank you, man.
Legend in my book, man. Legend in my book,
man. I said it, and I mean
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna come check you guys out.
Yes.
Sooner or later, and then please share some music, yo. If you guys,
oh, definitely,
absolutely. I'll send you that Dropbox after we get off here. It's got some heat in it.
Yes, sir.
Please do.
Yo, thank you for joining us, Bonics. This has been the 5 on 5 podcast. We will be back next week with another surprise guest. And everybody stay safe, wear your mask, and be kind to each other.
That's
Just
right.
be
Real
kind.
quick, shout out to the heavy hitters. Shout out to my Hardeen family in Las Vegas. Shout out to the Taylor gang, of course.
Taylor gang.
Right, Taylor gang or die. So hopefully you'll be seeing us on the road later this year. And make sure you catch me on Twitch.
There we go. Boom.
That's the word. All right, y'all. Take care.
Y'all.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Bonics.
Love it.